In this video, I want to give you the step-by-step process on how I nurture real estate leads. Hey guys, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Emmanuel. I am the founder and kind of chief talking head guy around here over at Square One Group. Really, our mission is to help you identify your expertise and then use that to help you scale your real estate business using systems. That said, got nothing to sell you. We make these videos because we just want to help bring in some new business. So if and when you do decide to scale, maybe you keep us in mind because we would love to work with you. Now, today I want to jam on with you about nurturing real estate leads, but more specifically, how to nurture real estate leads, simply because I've seen way too many agents get this wrong. And I want to start by really telling you a story about two different agents. Now, both of these agents, they had a list of about 100 people inside of their sphere, and both of them, they set reminders on their CRM to follow up with their leads every single month. Now, agent number one, this person would follow up, and their follow-up would look like this. It'd be a text message or maybe an email saying, hey, how's it going? Are you looking to buy your house right now or sell your house right now, or some derivative of that? Conversely, we have agent number two, and the follow-up for agent number two, on the other hand, well, it's completely different from agent number one. 1 month it would be a check-in to a lead because he knew that the daughter of this lead was graduating high school. Then another month it would be another check-in to give a really cool event guide for things happening in the neighborhood for the month. And then maybe the next month it would be to join a free event that he's putting together to take family photos. Needless to say, agent number two, thriving real estate business, while agent number one, on the other hand, struggling, and they're constantly looking for new leads. Now, I bring this story up simply because this pretty much describes the differentiation between the two main classifications of real estate agents that there are out there. One agent that plays the later game, and this one is all about building business off of relationships that this person nurtures, versus the other one, which is just simply looking for now transaction. Now, the later agents, they know to focus on the lead nurture, while now agents, they really focus on the lead gen. And at the end of the day, if you talk to any top producing real estate agent out there, they will 100% without a shadow of a doubt tell you that the success and longevity of their real estate business is based on the lead nurture and not the lead gen. Which really brings me to the point of today's video. And that is, I personally think that the biggest misconception about lead nurture that most agents have, especially new agents, and why they can't seem to crack this code about lead nurture and are constantly looking for new leads, it's simply because their definition of lead nurture is a reminder to them that they usually put in their CRM to check in or follow up, maybe once or every few times out of the month to pursue a real estate transaction. And that, my friends, is the completely wrong way to be thinking about a lead nurture strategy, simply because it makes all of your leads binary. They're either a yes or a no. And leads, let's just face it, they don't like being treated like that. So instead, I want to get really real with you. I want to give you the 6 foundational principles that you need to understand if you want to have a solid lead nurture system for your business, so you can make sure that your lead nurture process is actually bringing in new business. All right, principle number 1 is the principle of personalization. It's really essentially to make sure that all of your communication to your leads looks unique. So, for example, if you're sending out mass emails, then essentially what works better, or what works versus what doesn't work, is sending out emails that look more personable, look like they're actually a written message that looks one-to-one instead of a message that looks one-to-many. By the way, a message that looks one-to-many, they don't really work too well. If you actually measure the difference in terms of response rate between a message that actually looks like it's a written email message versus an email newsletter, you'll see that it's drastically different, and more people are more inclined to respond to a message that looks like it was personally written for them. All right, principle number 2, it is the principle of relevance. This is essentially providing valuable and relevant content that addresses a lead's pain, goals, and challenges. And this is where knowing your audience is super important. So, for example, let's say summer break is around the corner and you specialize in families. Then creating some sort of relevant summer activity family guide would actually resonate more with your leads than some random email about, what your home is worth or mortgage rates. By the way, I did a whole video on the importance of audience. I'm going to leave the link to that right up here. Yep, right here. All right, principle number 3, it's the principle of consistency. And this is essentially creating a cadence to stay in touch with your leads on a consistent basis to really build that relationship and to stay top of mind. Now, this could be something as easy as creating a schedule of 2 emails a month and a text message, and maybe a phone call every quarter. The plan for this is real simple. Figure out a cadence, then create repetitive tasks and apply that to all of your leads. By the way, you liking what you're hearing so far? Click the thumbs up, like button, subscribe button, all that good stuff. All right, foundation foundational lead nurture principle number 4, and this is all about timing. This one's pretty straightforward. You don't want to be reaching out to people at inappropriate times. So for example, if your clients are a bunch of trust fund babies that are out partying on a weeknight, then go ahead, send out a text message to them at midnight. Otherwise, be cognizant of when they're around or they're willing to respond. For example, we know that families usually respond best to text messages on Sundays simply because they're typically winding down or spending time with family and they're just prepping for the new week. So that's typically when you're gonna get the highest probability of getting a response or respond back saying hello. Oh, and by the way, quick pro tip about this one. If you're running all your campaigns through a CRM, you're likely able to track the average times that people are reading your messages, and then you can optimize your reach outs based on those times. All right, principle number 5. And this one's an important one, and that is to measure. It is to track and analyze the effectiveness of what you did when you reached out to your leads. Granted, this sounds so simple, but this is one of the best, if not the most advanced strategy that will actually accelerate the probability of you converting a stranger or a prospect into a client very, very quickly. And it's simply because when you can accurately identify what's working, it helps you accelerate the know, like, and trust factor exponentially. And then through this process, you end up getting a lot more clients faster. By the way, measuring, super easy. We track every single one of our clients this way that I'm about to explain to you now. It's simply just taking your campaign, the one that you're running, you take the total amount of people or the audience size that you're reaching out to, and then you divide it by how many people replied. This essentially gives you a percentage. And then the goal here is to make sure that the percentages are always going up and not going down. And obviously, if it's going down, then the idea would be try something else, which actually leads to principle number 6, and that is to optimize. It is to continually improve the strategies that you're implementing based off of the data that you're collecting from principle number 5. So for example, let's say that in the beginning of June, you sent out an email about, this really great restaurant or restaurants that are opening in the neighborhood. And then mid-June, you send out an email, about mortgage rates. This is a very simplified explanation, but let's say that you get tons of responses about this email that you sent about the restaurants and nothing about mortgage rates. Then in this case, the strategy would really be to double down on the content that is working. So create more content about restaurants. By the way, the best way to execute these principles and the way that I would recommend doing and the way I do it is to actually outline the entire system first, like draw it all out and then go and implement it to your leads. Anyway, hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure you check out this one here.